Well, friends, this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. And it was a little bit touch and go because we brought in the news and then we started thinking, we do hope he turns up. But you wouldn't have let us down, would you, Keith Lemon?
No, hello. Welcome to your show. Thanks for having me. It's lovely to see your face. You know what's weird? We had a chat off air and you sounded different and you suddenly went on there and then you had a radio voice.
Well, there you go. The radio voice always happens. I think that it's...
One minute I thought I was talking to you in Dixon's and then suddenly I'm on radio and then I realised Dixon's doesn't exist anymore. It's Curry's Digital. What happened to Dixon's? Well, I walked down Oxford Street the other day and Dixon's were just gone. And Top Shop's gone, /Top Man. All these shops have gone.
Do you remember electrical stores called Tandy?
Yeah, Tandy.
Do you remember those in the north?
Yeah, I used to get like rubbish headphones from there and leads that go, I'm sure I need this lead for something. And then I didn't need it. And it might have been £1.65, which was a lot of money back then.
As a kid, though, it was so exciting because I remember my granddad always used to take me in there. He was in his element because he loved cameras. He loved all sorts of stuff like that. I was only about 6 years old, but it was the smell of the equipment that really used to get me. I was like, wow.
It just felt quite adult. It just felt quite adult going to Tandy. Where should we go next? Should we go to Tandy? What? Look at things we don't understand. And I do that now. I go to B&Q and just like look at padlocks and stuff and go, it's an heavy one. It's an heavy padlock, isn't it? And I just feel manly because I'm not very manly. But I did buy a Dremel, which I use all the time. And I built a life-size R2-D2, which I started cutting with a Leatherman. You know a Leatherman? And I don't understand why they're called Leathermans because they're not made out of leather. You just come in a leather pouch. But it's like a penknife with loads of bits on. And I mean, mate was going, what are you cutting it with that for? Why don't you get a Dremel? I went, what's a Dremel? And now I'm like a proper bloke with heavy padlocks and Dremels.
Well, I was just about to start with that because you're very good at making things, aren't you?
Well, that's
I never thought
that's what happened to
you
me.
were the type somehow. I always imagined that you would just be sort of almost existing around the house during lockdown.
Just floating around going, when am I going to be back on telly? I need a job.
But no, you're very handy. And in fact, this video we will put online after we've finished it. But all the things behind you, you've made them, haven't you?
No.
Well, some of them, no, such as that little alien thing there on your left-hand side.
Here?
Yeah. You've made that,
Yoda. Maybe Yoda from Mandalorian. No, Laura Whitmore gave me that for Christmas.
Oh, I thought that you made that.
I'll show you some stuff I've made. I'm going to stand up.
Go on. I want to see this.
I mean, this is working for radio. I'll show you something. I guess
over the radio.
I made an E.T.
Look at the detail on that.
I made E.T. Can you remember Howard the Duck?
Howard the Duck? I remember Ed the Duck. I don't remember Howard the Duck.
From the movie Howard the Duck. I made Howard the Duck there as well.
Presumably, though, if you take off Howard's fur, then it's just some sort of clay structure underneath that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Can you remember Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah.
Audrey. I made Audrey.
That. Where do you even start with making something like that?
Well, if you check out Keith Lemon's doings, you'll see me make these things. My YouTube channel. Yeah, you know what? I did a show on Channel 4 called The Fantastical Factory of Curious Craft, which was a title way too long for anybody to remember. My mum was in it, and she couldn't even remember it. And she was on it every episode and couldn't remember. She went, what's that show I do with you? And basically, it was like Bake Off, but for crafters. And it really inspired me. I got chatting to a lot of the crafters on there and stayed in touch with them. And then a nice lady called Wendy said, Keith, have you ever tried using Super Scoopy? I went, what did you say?
Is she Indian?
Have you ever tried using Super Scoopy? And I said, no. So I tried using Super Scoopy, which is like a clay that you put in the oven for 15 minutes and it dries like hard plastic. And so I started using that and I went, wow, this is amazing. And I'd never done any sculpting before, but I just thought, oh, I'll get into that. I mean, management were forcing me to do a YouTube channel, which I said I ain't got time for. And I went, don't like right young people do YouTube channels. And they said, oh, you should do it because it's the future. So I thought, I'll make stuff on YouTube then. And I've got no subscribers and no one watches me.
You've got loads of them.
No,
You've got loads of subscribers.
No, I think I've got 15 people watch me.
You've got thousands of people on there. Don't be so hard on yourself.
No, I've got no subscribers, but I enjoy making stuff. And now I started reviewing films, with my mate Tom, and we get even less views. I don't know I think 2 Northerners is probably too much for them. I don't know. 1 Northerner I can get by, but 2 Northerners like, I am watching you. Well, but luckily I've got a job on telly.
So, talking of mums, because when I told mine that you were coming on the show,
I bet she went, "Oh, he's cheeky. You better not swear."
Well, have you been reading my script? Because she said, "Oh, he is good, but he's a little bit rude sometimes, isn't he?"
Yeah, well, I am rude on through the keyhole on Celebrity Juice, because Celebrity Juice is rude, and I'm forced into saying these vulgarities. And I'm also influenced by alcohol. Everyone's drunk on Celebrity Juice. It's like a big party. Right. And you say things that you shouldn't have said. But a lawyer checks everything straight after. So we're all safe. But on Through the Keyhole, I guess there's no naughtiness on there. But that been on for 3 years. But yeah, it's funny because in real life, I don't really F and Jeff that much. But just on Juice, I guess. Because alcohol is a bad thing. It's a naughty thing that makes you say sweary words.
It's almost like me and my radio voice. So off air, as you said, it's a
you sound like I'm just chatting to you in tandem.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, that's a great cable, isn't it? And then the microphone comes on. And it's like, here we go. We're professional mode. So it's almost like cameras aren't there, and it's me and you talking in tandy.
Yeah.
And then the cameras go on, and it's like, right,
I'm a bad boy. I'm a bad boy from a rough estate.
Hey, well, is this true that each episode takes around 3 hours to film?
What, of Celebrity Juice?
Roughly, yeah. Roughly.
Yeah, I think that's quite quick for a show as well, you know. Because, I mean, before I was on telly, I went to see a few shows, and I can remember being sat there for ages and clapping for ages like a seal. Just like, have you ever been to Strictly Come Dancing?
No.
You're there for about 6 hours. 6 hours, because they filmed the results show as well. So you sat there in between. Luckily, because I'm on telly now, I can just get up and go, I'm just going to talk, because I know cameramen and stuff. I can just go, I'm just going to, don't film over here because I'm just going to go to the toilet. But all punters that sat there, they've got to sit there for like 6 hours. But I mean, it's a nice show. If you like Strictly and you sat there for 6 hours, you're getting your money's worth, even though it's free to go see a show anyway. So.
Well, we only see 40 minutes of the 3 hours. Do you have any editorial say? Because obviously, as you said, you're clean cut.
Yeah. I used to go into the edit 13 years ago when we first started doing it. But the guys have been doing it so long, you know, they know what they're doing. They know so I trust them, yeah. But when I do a new show, I'll often go into the edit at the beginning of a series. And then they just know what... I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing, so I must tell them. I'm just curious to see what they put in. You know?
And the guests, you get them doing some interesting things. And is it true that you're responsible for Eamon Holmes and his bad back?
No, I don't.
Have you caused this?
No.
He's
got bad hips now,
pineapple.
He's got bad hips now, hasn't he?
Well,
no, I'm not. I tell you what, nature's responsible. Nature.
Because
the growth of getting old.
I saw the clip of this pineapple hitting his back at quite a speed. And then because the cameras they were on him, he was thinking, I mustn't show my true feelings here. Yeah, what happened after that?
The guests are great. They're such good sports when they come on Celebrity Juice, but they are booze fueled, and we give them loads of booze, and so we can convince them to let us throw pineapples at their back. But Eamon's a telly Jedi, you know. I love Eamon Holmes, but I have seen him he's been on Celebrity Juice a few times, but I can remember once he did fall asleep, which was...
You're in the show?
Yeah, fell asleep. But this is when he was doing Sky News.
Right.
Then he'd go on and do This Morning. Then he'd go and do his radio show. And then he'll come and do Celebrity Juice. So he was shattered, you know. He's not in his 20s, Eamon Holmes. He's not in his 20s.
But how, I mean, out of all the shows to fall asleep, the Antiques Roadshow, you'd be thinking, I could fall asleep during that. But your show, there seems to be so much happening and it's so loud.
Yeah, it's loud.
If there's one person I wouldn't trust when I'm asleep, it's probably you.
I don't what image I put off, but I'm a nice guy, you know.
And it's up to its 25th series. You've been doing this for 25 series. Got that off you see. Yeah. And who's been your best guest?
Well, people ask me this, and I always say my favourite guest is when it's mates in real life. So it's like people that I hang out with in real life who are no longer celebrities. Because to me, celebrities are people I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But when you know them, you don't think they're celebrities. They're just your mates. But when I have my mates on, that's when I have the best time because I know where the line is. I know how much I can get out of them. And I know how much they can drink and we can have a nice time. It's such a gift of a job because I just have a party. Well, it used to be every Wednesday, but now because COVID happened, the filming dates are all over the place. It's just when they can get us in a studio safely. And the last 2 series, we've not had an audience, which was weird. It was just like a private lock-in. A pub it was. So next series, hopefully, we will have an audience. But we're not doing another series this year. We've just got Halloween special and Christmas special. But I did have a meeting with ITV 2 days ago and said, "Don't worry, you'll be back with the juice." All right. But I think they just wanted it back when it can be a bit more normal with audiences because the audience is the other guest, really. It's the other guest. I always likened it to Sex in the City. Not that our show's as good as Sex in the City. But New York is the other character in it. That's what they always say in Sex in the City. New York, the backdrop of New York is the other character in that show. And our audience is the other character, is the other guest. And without them, it's not the same. Even though I still have a great time, like I say, it's like a lock-in. But the noise isn't there, you know?
How long do you think this can go on for? No offense, but
until they say get out. I mean,
I imagine
it don't get as many viewers as it used to back in the day, but generally telly doesn't. But I used to say when it dropped under a certain figure, I'm out. And then Fern left, and then Holly left, and because originally we said when one of us leaves, we'll all leave, and I'm like, I can't leave. I still have a good time, you know. And I meet some lovely people, and I get drunk and do 3 hours of telly. And that's my job. So I can't leave until they kick me out. I can't leave.
I have an image of you, 80 years old, still doing it.
Well,
still there at the desk, asking the questions.
And the scars at the end of that round there.
What an image. What a great image that would be.
But luckily, I'm staying quite youthful.
And if you look at the videos, your style has, some people may say got worse, but I'd say it has sort of developed over the years. You seem to be able to look, it seems as though you can make anything look good.
Well, you went in there with a slur, and then you brought it back round with a compliment.
I was there going, how's he going to take this? I'll sort of.
Do you know what? I have a very eclectic style. It's quite an individual style, and I like that not many people dress like me, but anyone else who does dress like me, I often get likened to, and people go, "Why are you starting to look like Boy George?" Hey, you look like
Boy
Pharrell.
George.
I look like Boy George, apparently. Oh, because I wear a hat now. Or I look like Pharrell. Yeah, we've got the exact same eyes, me and Pharrell. And I don't know. I tell you what happens. Now and again, you sit back and you go, right, I want to look different now. I have plaits now. I have plaits in my hair. And my youngest offspring just said to me one day, "You've got plaits?" I said, "Yeah." And she went, "Is that what you're doing now?" I went, "Yeah." Then looked me up and down because I can't remember what I had on because I dress more flamboyantly on telly. And she said, "Are you going to work?" I went, "No, I've got my regular clothes on." "Well, you look like you're going to work." "Oh, you're my mum."
I'm sorry, but I can't imagine you being a dad. I know it has happened.
I know, I'm an ace dad.
I can't genuinely imagine you in the park taking care.
That's
full
what I did yesterday. We went for a 4 mile.
Beings.
We went for a 4 mile walk yesterday.
But surely it must be. I mean, passers-by must be going, "There's Keith Lemon with some children."
Yeah, and then we go home, and then my eldest might grasp me up and go, "He had 5 pictures with strangers." Because the law is don't do any pictures when you're with kids, which is it's a good law. But sometimes these people watch you on telly, and just a quick photo, it doesn't help anyone. Do you know what I mean? Unless my kids are a bit older now, so I can just go stand there. I'll just do a picture, and but when they were little, I can remember having them on my shoulders and people saying, "Can I have a picture?" I go, "No, I'm with my daughter," and they would go, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah, really. This is my daughter. I made a person. I made a person." And tomorrow I'll be making a person out of Super Sculpey.
In the oven as well. Yeah. In case of, put the child in the oven. Sorry, no, I mean the sculpture. We were told, or we presumed that you'd be on for maybe 10 or so minutes. I asked you how long we've got, and you said 10 o'clock if you want me. So
yeah, I mean,
that's
I won't
great
be
news
on.
for
I'll
us.
run out of things to say. I've got notes to plug. I have got things to plug.
You always have things to plug.
Check out killclothes.com.
Okay.
That's me T-shirts that I do. I'm wearing one of them
Look
now.
at that.
I did a T-shirt for Caroline Flack a couple of years ago. You can still get that, and all the profits to that go to Samaritans. Any of the other T-shirts, all the proceeds go to me. So you decide what you want to do. But that T-shirt's still on there forever and ever, hopefully. And yeah, check out Keith Lemon's doings. I'm doing a secret project at the moment. That's why I've got to have a COVID test at 10 o'clock. I'm not allowed to speak about that. And also, I'm doing a new thing in September, which I'm probably not allowed to speak about that. But I know I'm doing it with. I know who the co-presenter is, and it's all exciting.
So basically, lots to plug, but you can't tell us about anything.
It's so telly that, isn't it? Oh, I'd love to tell you, but I can't tell you.
Well, we would love to invite you to the Big Fat Quiz of the Week. So we're going to play a song, if that's all right with you. Yeah. And then we're going to bring on the other contestants, and we're going to have a quiz all about classic British TV comedies. Are you up for that?
Yeah. I'll be rubbish, though.
I'm sure you won't be, because there is a question which is basically about you.
All right.
So
I won't remember.
If you get that wrong, if you get that wrong, it will be awful, because I thought, well, we need to give him at least one he'll hopefully get right, because if he gets none of them right, can you imagine that? The star guest.
Oh, well, it's not how knowledgeable you are. It's the things you learn. Oh, that was deep.
Like that. You going very knowledgeable and deep there. Is that just coffee in the cup there? Because I
always have a glass of coffee in the morning. I've caught posh. I have a glass of coffee. I'd still said it in a Norman accent, didn't I? A glass. I'll have a glass of coffee, please.
I'll have a glass of coffee.
I'll have a glass of coffee. That's how my kids speak. Slightly posh, but slightly northern.
Hello, father.
Mm.
And it's like, look.
Father, didn't we have a right laugh?
Look, you're not Les Dawson, all right? You're my child. More from Keith in just a moment's time.